Good day, and thank you for tuning in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast for all of our new listeners and viewers who are tuning in for the very first time. I'm Pastor Pope, Senior Pastor of New Life Christian Center located at 400 Hillcrest Avenue in Wilmington, Delaware, 19809. And we invite you to come and worship with us every Sunday at 10 a.m. Service begins. There's parking on Hillcrest. We are the complex located right on the corner of Hillcrest and Marsh Road. And if you're ever in our area, come and worship with us. We invite you to come and experience a better quality of life. And if you're not in our area, you can tune in for the Sunday sermon at 10:45 a.m. when we go live at New Life Christian Center, 400 Hillcrest Avenue, Wilmington, Delaware, 19809. And of course, we are here with you, broadcasting live from the FijiWater.com sponsored studio for the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. We are excited to be here with you. We're here Monday through Friday, any given day, scheduling permitted, from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, broadcasting right here live in the FijiWater.com sponsored studio. And 3D is always brought to you by Fiji Water, Earth's finest water. You may already know that Fiji water comes from Fiji. However, did you know that it is created by nature? It is untouched by man. It starts as a tropical rainfall which slowly filters through layers of volcanic rock, where the water collects in a natural, sustainable artesian aquifer, where it is bottled right at the source, free from human contact until you unscrew the blue cap. Fiji Water, Earth's finest water, will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery. And you'll save money at FijiWater.com. Now, we're here with you to discuss whatever topics that are important to you. You can discuss careers, finances, entrepreneurship. You can discuss marriage, divorce, raising children, blending families. You can discuss dating and relationships. That's what 3D is for, Daily Divine Direction. So we thank you for allowing us to come into your listening and viewing environment. And as I said, we are here with you and for you during the week, Monday through Friday, scheduling permitted from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Now, many of you have been sending me communications saying, when are you going to be on the air, Pastor? And I appreciate all of you for being patient. You're looking forward to us being on the air. We have so many amazing things going on at New Life Christian Center. You will see some of them posted on Facebook. You will see that there is a lot going on. And so consequently, our schedule is what it is, but we are going to be here with you as often as possible right here in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. So I want to remind all of our listeners and viewers, until the end of this month, we are having FijiWater.com sponsored promo, which only requires you to go to our internet radio station WKAPFaith.com. You will hear music 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Music that will, and 365 days a year. Music that will encourage you, empower you, and inspire you. But for the promo, all you have to do is listen to the first 3 songs you hear on our internet radio station, WKAPFaith.com. List those 3 songs, text them along with your name and your email address to the T-Mobile caller text line at 267-992-1424. One of our listeners and viewers will be selected to receive a case of Earth's finest water from FijiWater.com. So go to WKAPFaith.com. First 3 songs you hear at 11 a.m. or 6 p.m. List them along with your name, your email address, text them to the T-Mobile caller text line at 267-992-1424. I'm going to address a communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you are struggling with the fact that your son has chosen to be in a relationship with someone you do not feel is right for him. Okay. So let me begin by saying this first and foremost. The question you have to ask yourself is why? Why is it that you feel she's not the right person for him? But after you ask yourself that question, you have to be mindful. She may not be enough for you. She may be enough for him. So just because you don't think she's right for him, you have to identify why you feel that if you're going to have a conversation with your son about who he chooses to be in a relationship with. You can't just say, I don't think she's right for you. Because, you could, but it's not effective. Because he would need to know why you're trying to choose the right person for him, or the person you feel is not right for him. You're willing to eliminate her from the equation. See, I want to say this to all of our listeners and viewers. It's not a bad thing for parents to choose who would be a suitable mate for your child as they become an adult. And I'm going to tell you what that looks like. That only means that they need to be able to sit down, the parents, as parents, we need to be able to sit down with our children and the person who's of interest to them and say, for example, what's your 7-year plan? What's your 14-year plan? What's your 21-year plan? Because if that person doesn't have a plan for their own life, they can't have a plan for the life of your child. Now, having said that, you have to understand that if you've done everything that you can do as a parent, your child should be capable of making good decisions. It is reflection on us when our young adult children make bad decisions. But after 30, when they make bad decisions, they have to live with those decisions. So, in your case, your son, you mentioned in your communication, and that's why I said, I didn't say it just for that reason. 30 is the mark-off point. That really 29. Once they have graduated, let's look at the long-range graduation rate for college. At 22, that's usually the longest point where someone's going to complete their undergraduate education if they go immediately from high school to college. So 7 years after that is 29. Their 7-year plan should allow them to make mistakes. After that, and mistakes that you participate in. And what I mean by that is, they make some financial mistakes, you're going to help them out. They are not making good decisions in relationships, you're going to be there to emotionally support them. But once they hit 30, you've got to allow them to make whatever mistakes they're going to make, but not at your expense. But him selecting a young lady, and we've got to put this in the proper perspective. Young ladies should not be selecting a man. A man should select the young woman because, and I know I'm going to get some emails about this because many of you have been reaching out just asking when I'm going to be back on the air, so that's great. But here's the reality. The Bible says, he who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor of the Lord. That means it's the man's job to be searching her out. That's the first thing. But now, because you have a son, his job is to select who he wants to spend the rest of his life with. His job is to select who is going to be his significant other so that he can prepare to take a wife and build a family, build a life for himself. You may not like his choice, but you have to accept his choice. Doesn't mean you can't have a conversation with him about his choice, but you've got to make sure if you have that conversation, you understand why you made the decision that you're making. It can't just be because, she has children or a child previously. It can't just be because she's underemployed. It can't just be because you don't like who she is. You have to take into consideration what he's basing his decision on. What's her character? What's her attitude? What's her behavior? What's her character? What's her level of commitment? All of that's important. And he has to base it on those things. If you're not basing it on those things, you really can't say to him, I don't think she's good for you. I don't think she's right for you. Because right for him and good for him may not be the same thing. She may be a match in ways that you don't understand because she doesn't give him attitude. She's not, drop it like it's hot. She's got the right behavior. She's got the right level of commitment. There may be a lot of things that you don't know behind the scenes that make her good for him. And in his mind, he may say, if she's good for him, she's right for him. You may be saying she's not right for him because of all of the external things you see. But it's, he may be looking at the heart of the matter. What's her heart like? One thing I can tell you, and this isn't your situation, but I want to share this with our listeners and viewers because, I've heard this from other people who say, I don't want my son marrying someone who already has a child. Well, at least you know her level of commitment because she's raising a child. She's a single, and this isn't your case, but it may be a single mother. There's nothing more committed than a single mother who's trying to do the right thing. But there's dynamics that go along with that also. So you've got to take all of that into consideration. But the very first thing you've got to do is ask yourself why you do not feel she's right for him. She may not be good enough for you, but she may be good enough for him. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G provider at no extra charge. So if you are not currently a T-Mobile customer, you may call or text on the T-Mobile call or text line at 267-992-1424. We will move you into our queue so that you may have the opportunity to become a T-Mobile customer and experience America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. Taxes and fees are included in your bill, and if you auto pay by attaching a credit card to your account, you will receive a discount on your monthly bill at T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers. However, before I do that, I'm going to share with all of our listeners and viewers that this next segment, is brought to you by PorscheAmerica.com. So if you are currently in the market for a high-performance automobile, one of the finest high-performance automobiles ever manufactured, go to PorscheAmerica.com, where you will virtually have the opportunity to build out the Porsche you desire to own. And if you currently are in our area, all you have to do is go to PorscheDelaware.com. Ask to speak to Mike Didio, who is the general manager of PorscheDelaware.com. He will have someone assist you in selecting the Porsche you desire to own. And if you currently own a Porsche and you're in our area and you're just in need of service, go to PorscheDelaware.com. Ask to speak to Mike Adams, who is the service manager at PorscheDelaware.com. He will have someone schedule an appointment for you. They will pick up your vehicle at your home or office, drop off a loaner vehicle to you, and return your vehicle to you when your service has been completed at PorscheDelaware.com. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated you are dating an older man. You said, however, your idea of fun is not the same as his idea of fun. You want to know what can you do to find common interest. You said, since you want to maintain the relationship. So, the simple issue here is that you both are at two different places in your life, but you've entered into a relationship. That's not necessarily a bad thing. I'm going to tell you how that breaks out. First and foremost, you got to understand who you're dating. So you began with, he's an older man. You have what you perceive to be fun, and he has what he perceives to be fun. You want to do things that someone in your age group is doing, but you want to do them with him. He's not going to do those things because been there, done that, got a t-shirt. He's already past that stage of life. You're still trying to enjoy that stage of life. That doesn't mean that he won't find some things that you enjoy doing enjoyable. But what you're gonna have to do is alternate. So if he's gonna do, a few of the things you enjoy doing, then you're gonna have to do a few of the things he enjoys doing. So I'll kind of walk you through the scenario. And I'll use examples that will help you with navigating this age difference. First of all, you like going out to brunch with your friends. He doesn't really like hanging out with people doing brunch. So maybe what you can do is find another couple that you know will be able to interact with him and enjoy having lunch together. That whole brunch scene is a little different than, because you get these groups of people together for brunch. He only really wants to have lunch with you and maybe one other couple, just to have a conversation with another couple. It's okay to make some revisions to the way you do things. But then he may like to go to a museum and spend an afternoon. That may not be necessarily your thing to do, but you can alternate and you can say, okay, I can maybe go to a museum with you next weekend. Just alternate. It might be, you might like working out. He might like working out. That's something you can do together. You might like doing something with your friends that is, for example, you might like going to the ocean and I don't know, you might like jet skiing. He may not like jet skiing, but that doesn't mean he won't go to the beach with you. He may like, I'm a golfer. I love the game of golf. If he likes playing golf, maybe you won't want to do a golf course, but you may be able to go to Topgolf. That's not an endorsement for that's not a sponsor for the Daily Divine Direction, but it's available. And it's something the two of you could do together. So you just have to find ways to alternate what you're doing so that he doesn't feel like all you want to do is hang out with your friends, and because you want to hang out with your friends, you want him to hang out with you. Because that's not who he is. You got to know what you're working with. You got to understand what you're working with. And then maybe try doing some things differently. And if you both do that, if you both make the effort to do that, you'll find that you'll be able to enjoy the relationship you're having as opposed to kicking against the pricks, opposed to being in a debate all the time and basically him saying to you, because then your feelings get hurt, him saying, why don't you just go out with your friends and I'll connect with you later, which means he's telling you go do what you want to do And he's going to do what he wants to do, and eventually you'll come back together again. That will limit the relationship. If you want to maintain the relationship, you're going to have to do some things differently. The problem is that in relationships, everyone wants to do things their way. The reality is when you have two people in the relationship, there's two ways of doing things. As long as there's not anything wrong, there's two ways of doing things. There's the way you enjoy doing things, there's the way he enjoys doing things. And that's not a bad thing. It's just that you either have to find things that you enjoy doing together, or you're going to have to be okay with doing things apart. But you've got to know that because you're dating someone older, he's going to do things differently. He's going to, he may be a little set in his ways, but he's going to have a different way of enjoying life than you have, because you're used to doing everything with your friends. That's your generation. But now you're in a relationship with someone older, which means he's got a different way of doing things. As long as he's got a plan, maybe that's not so bad. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by Charles Tyrwhitt, located in London, the UK. They also have stores in New York, Chicago, Washington, D.C., and at the King of Prussia Mall in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. So if you're in any of those areas, stop in at the retail stores. They have everything a man could possibly need. I'm in Charles Tyrwhitt Attire today. If you are not in any of those areas, you can order from Charles Tyrwhitt at ctshirts.com. They will ship and deliver right to your front door in an appropriate period of time. And right now, if you order from Charles Tyrwhitt, you can receive 3 high-quality cotton shirts for $99. That's a $248 savings at Charles Tyrwhitt at ctshirts.com. And this segment is also brought to you by The White Company. So if you are located in the UK or in London, you can visit their retail stores. They also have one located on 5th Avenue in New York. So if you're in New York, stop in at their retail store. They have everything you could possibly need: home goods, clothing for men, women, and children. And if you're not in New York, you can order from The White Company at thewhitecompany.com. They too will ship and deliver right to your front door in an appropriate period of time. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you have listened to the broadcast for several years and followed the instruction to write a 7-year plan for your personal life and your professional life. You said the last 5 years have been amazing for you. And, I want to say to you, well, first of all, thank you for being a loyal, faithful and loyal listener. Thank you for making the commitment to be with us in 3D. Whatever days we're on the air, Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. I know you were also with us during the summer when we did a 1-hour broadcast. So you've been a listener for a very long time. You said that when you started the communication. You told me you have been listening to the broadcast all the way back to when we were broadcasting live from the radio station, from Faith. And so I want to thank you for being with us for a very long period of time. Now, having said that, you've been with us, you wrote out your 7-year plan, you've seen the progress, you've seen the results. And this is what I constantly tell our listeners and viewers. I'm constantly telling adults and students, I'm constantly telling students when I go and speak to them, you got to have a plan. If you don't have a plan, life has one for you. It's called failure. You have nothing to work if you don't have a plan. And the reason that I know that is because the Bible says, write the vision and make it plain. The vision is your plan. So you've said the last 5 years have been amazing. You've shared that in the last 5 years, you have gotten married, you've purchased a home. I'm going to say to you, to God be the glory, but you said you had never taken the time to plan out your life. You were just living life as most people do, from day to day, week to week, month to month, year to year. So now you understand the importance of writing your 7-year plan. You understand the importance of writing your 14-year plan. You asked me for a little bit of guidance on that. I will follow up with you on that because this came in, this communication came in previously. I will say to you this. Because these years have been amazing, you've now seen the results. And for all of us, if we write a plan, we will get results. If we follow the plan, we will get great results. You got to know how important it is to plan out life. You've got to know how important it is to plan every aspect of life, personally and professionally. You said in 5 years you've gotten married. And you did share this also in your communication. You said when you started writing the plan, you weren't even dating anyone. You've been listening to every step of the way. So I'll share with our listeners and viewers parts of what you said in your communication. And that is, you said you weren't even dating anyone. You weren't in a relationship with anyone when you wrote the plan. But you included in your plan that you wanted to start dating. You wanted to get married. And you said you even followed the instruction that when someone asks you out, that they take you to church and out to lunch. So you've been following the guidance. And this is the result. You said in 5 years, you have gotten married. You have enhanced your personal life, purchased a home, enhanced your professional life. And in those last 5 years, we've even lived through a pandemic. So you see how quickly things will change. Now, some people will say, oh, it's 5 years. That's not quick. That's a quick process. And even going through a pandemic in 2 of those. The problem is no one wants to put the work in. That's why people don't plan. They don't plan because then if you have a plan, you have a plan to work, you've got to hold yourself accountable for the plan. So most people just won't write one. They would rather do what they want to do than writing out a plan and holding themselves accountable for the plan. And so we're not living in the image and in the likeness of God because God has a plan. God has a plan for everything he wants to do in each of our lives. But we don't want to hold ourselves accountable for the plan. So we would rather just wait and see what the day has to offer. We would rather wait and see what the week has to offer. We would rather wait and see what happens to us during the course of this year, and then we'll respond accordingly. That's not a plan. That's just living life. The problem with that is life will happen to us all. So you've got to say to yourself, okay, I am at this point in time, I am going to write a 7-year plan. Now, let me tell you why I say that. Because we're about to start a new year. If you haven't done that to date, it's time to write a 7-year plan. And for you, because you have written that 7-year plan, and you're working that 7-year plan, and things have happened that are amazing, now you have to say, I'm going to write my 14-year plan. Because you said all that's happened to you has happened in the last 5 years. So you started writing the plan previous to that. So I can tell you, I was on the air in 2018 with Faith on the Faith Station. So this has all happened to you over that period of time. And the problem with that is people just don't want to put in that work. So I'm going to encourage everyone before the new year starts, write your 7-year plan. If you've already written your 7-year plan, write your 14-year plan and work the plan. You will see that God will do amazing things in all of our lives, because God is not the respecter of persons. What he's done for you, he'll do